March and do the Airbnb type of business. My question is, what do you generally think of this type of business?
Here's the cool thing about
Airbnb.
The cool thing about Airbnb is they've done all the work. All you need is a place for people to stay. You go on, it's an app, you sign up for the app, you give me an email, you send me a picture, and then the next day, you can have somebody staying at your house. It's that simple. I can tell you the house that I'm in right now. I was doing Airbnb for probably 2 years. The Airbnb was paying for my spot, and I got solar panels. So I was living in the house for free. Literally. I just stopped it because I was like, okay, it's time, to do something different, and I want to be able to blast my music up at 2 a.m. and not worry about my guests. Right. Sometimes I don't want to get dressed. So, but you can do, so there's things that set up, there's a Turo app. You can rent your car out. You know what I'm saying? If you got 2 cars, you can rent one of them out for $30-$40 a day. There's so many ways. If you want a nice car, if you have to have that Mercedes at $500 a month, then you drive it 2 weeks out of the month and put it on Turo and let somebody else pay for it.
Nah. See, I can't just let anybody drive my car now. That's my baby.
Well, I mean, you let anybody in your bank account. Right, okay. In that financial situation.
And Jordell says, as Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, we don't want temporary, we want permanent. So he's basically saying we don't want a Band-Aid. Because, basically giving us money, we'll fix it temporarily. But we need systems and plans in place. Let's say we do get reparations. I'm assuming this is what you're going. Yeah. And in both of these books, they talk about having a plan. Because as you guys said about Dave Chappelle, it will eventually go right back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to, first of all, figure out what you really want in your life. Like for me, I like to travel, right? And it wasn't always that way, but as I travel more, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Right now, I'm itching. Like, me and my girl were talking about going to Cuba this weekend, which is why I need to stop in Jacksonville and say what's up to my sister, right? But I'm like that. Like, when you get me talking about travel, going to Cuba, going to Italy, going to Mexico, or going to Amsterdam, or I need to go to Africa, I'm looking forward to that. Like, that's the stuff that you can take to the next generation. Right. And that's the stuff that you pay for, stuff that does something for you. Right. That you can use.
Memories.
Because now I'm using that in my businesses. I'm using the travel consulting. I'm tied into our firm.
Right. And Tori she asked, what kind of investment can I make to reach a 5-year retirement goal, specific things?
Okay, I can tell you how to retire in 5 years right now because I'm doing it myself. First of all, cut your expenses. I don't care. You have to. If you're bringing in $4,000 a month and your expenses are $3,000, you're struggling. Cut your expenses down. Number 1. 2, put your money and invest in things that are going to pay you a residual income. Right, so you can start with, like, you hear buy low, sell high, right? And you hear that all the time. Businesses do that. They do that in the stock markets. So, what if you take $1,000? Can you buy something with $1,000 and sell it for $2,000? Think about it. Sure. Right? What do you think Walmart does?
Okay.
Right? So, I was in Asia, and I'm going to tell you this because I want you to come to my website and buy it. I'll give you a discount if you mention my sister's name. I was in Thailand, and I went to sit down because if you eat Thai food on the street, you're going to need a toilet, right? So I'm sitting on the toilet, and I noticed ain't no toilet paper sitting here. And I went, oh. So the lady comes over right here laughing.
They have the rinse thing, yeah.
Yeah, she goes, you need tissue and use the sprayer. And so I go, sprayer? So they have a bidet sprayer. So you spray and you clean it all up. And anyways, it's
we're clean. Barbarians over here.
It's clean, you get to the point, right?
Right.
And so my whole trip, I was thinking, you know what? How much is that bidet sprayer at the factory? And how much is it on Amazon? I got back, I paid $35 to put for each one I put in my house. I ain't going to tell you what I can get the part for because I don't want to create competition. But, I mean, you can go to Alley West and things like that.
Yeah, I have a bidet. I have a bidet at my house. Only costs $25.
I know you got a bidet, right? That's the Bidet Brothers, right? Right? Our bottoms are clear.
Yes.
So, little things like that. So, as you go and you use things in your life, go, okay, if I'm paying $50 for this, how can I get it for $12 or $20? And that's how you start to build your retirement plan. Because as you start to make decisions like that, you'll waste less money on silly stuff. So you need to buy things that appreciate and that will then give you a residual income. One, how do you retire in 5 years? Maybe you start a business and you teach 20 people to do it, and then you live off the residual income from that, and sooner or later you stack enough. One, you could build up enough money to where, let's say you bought a house, right? Let's say in 5 years your goal is to pay off a house. Could you do that? Realistically, could you take $1,000 a month, and it don't have to be in California because that's not happening.
Right, you ain't getting nothing out here.
You can go to Alabama. You can go to
Mississippi.
Louisiana. You can go to Thailand. You can go. I saw a house in France. They wanted $100,000 for this condo.
Real estate.
Africa. So you can go around the world and buy something. Let's say my goal in 5 years is to pay off this house in Africa, and then I rent it out. And let's say that it's $1,000 US. Do you realize that you can live in Bangkok for $600 a month?
Yes.
Live in the Philippines for $700 a month or $400? You can, even Africa, you can go to Portugal, outside of Lisbon.
Yeah, Lisbon. Mm-hmm.
And live for $1,400 a month. So really, what all you really need is to create an income stream. So sometimes people think of their current environment.
Right.
So if you start buying things, selling them higher, cutting your expenses, and then every time you get paid, put it somewhere. Open an E-Trade account.
Yes.
Right.
Or Ameritrade or whatever. Even if you just put the money in cash. What is it? Robinhood.
Stash.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's this, oh my God, there's so many ways where you can invest $1 a day, $5 a day. Like, start out like that.
Right.
So come to me in a year and say, hey, you know what? I've been putting $5 a week away. And I don't care if you live out of your car, if you're living in the trunk. I don't care where you're living. You could put away $1, $2, $3 a day.
Right.
Just try that for a year. And then let's have this conversation. I guarantee you it'll be a different conversation.
Good point. And Jonelle says the greatest investment is that which has endurance that's long-term. To the guests, what are some of the great long-term assets you recommend investing in?
Okay, so what do we need? I guess it would depend what long-term means, but generally when we say long-term, we think about like real estate, which we just talked about, right? Buy something that can be used. Like let's say I bought a car, and so when you think about investing, you have to think about rate of return, right? Let's say I buy a car for $5,000. And I rent this car out, let's just say for $400 a month, right? Because when you lease a car, that's what they're doing to you.
Right.
So if I lease this car on Turo or whatever it is at $400 a month, that is $5,000 a year. That is 100% gross rate of return on my money. Where in the hell can you get 100% rate of return on your money? So here's the crazy part. You don't have to spend $5,000. You can spend $3,000. It just depends on where you go. So buy assets that people will use constantly. Right. If right now one of the things that's in the back of my mind is investing in a farm, not necessarily because I want to be a farmer in overalls, but people got to eat. AI ain't gonna never, as far as I can see, get into the food business.
Right.
At least
and that's what Dr. Claude Anderson was saying about resources, natural resources. So one of those things would be farm, because he says eventually if the technology industry does collapse, he says those people are now going to use their wealth to buy the stuff that we have. Which is food and, the everyday necessities that maybe right now they're kind of taking for granted, right? And so we'll be the producers of that if we were smart, right?
Mm-hmm. So stuff like, things that you can hold on to, like real estate, you can buy, things that will produce an income. Another thing that gets a really bad rap is network marketing. I hear people talk about Amway, Herbalife, all these companies like trash. But like network marketing is one of the best ways to build an income stream. Matter of fact, right now my company, Cornucopa, we don't have a network market, but you can best believe we are setting one up. Mm-hmm. Like, what if I can teach 50 people to do what I do? What if it took you, what was your guest's name?
Jonelle.
Jonelle, what if it took you 5 years to train 40 people to do what you do? The first year may not work. The second year may not work. The third year, the fourth year might be hell. But you know how long it normally takes a business to get going? 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
They say that. How long does it take to get a college degree?
4
years.
4 to 6.
5 years. Right? I'm not seeing people 6 years. Like people
RCC.
People in their 70s still getting their college. My mom got her college degree. She was damn near 70 years old.
Right.
See what I'm saying? But not once did I hear my mom say, oh my God, it ain't working. No, she didn't have her degree yet. So if you spend 4 or 5 years in college, why would you not spend 5 years building a business?
Right.
See, the problem with building a business is it doesn't work right away. I've had so many businesses.
Impatience.
Yeah, and my businesses have failed. My sister would tell you, I done tried everything from selling Jimmy Crack corn and I don't care to like ice to Eskimos. I done tried anything. Uh-huh. But what at the end of the day, it's experience
right.
that gets you, that makes you tough.
Right.
So
Isn't that what they say about Trump? That's why he's such a good businessman, because he's failed so many times that now he's the president of the United States.
I know. Let's see what Arson says.
But yeah, he has a lot of failures.
Yeah,
all right, but we ain't gonna get on Trump.
No, but I was just saying that's one of the things that they keep saying. He kept
but you know what? Trump,
trying.
His father left him an inheritance, and here's the other thing I want to talk about.
Okay,
I'm gonna get to the rest of y'all comments.
So for you people that like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders supporters, I'm gonna need you to plug your ears for a second.
Okay.
Donald Trump, he's a jerk, whatever you want to call him, right? Because Trump is not a friend of mine either. Don't get it twisted, right? And regardless of who I vote for, he don't want me around. I promise. If I came home with Ivanka, he'd have a problem. Right? So, anyways, I'm not gonna be the.
Let's get to Arson's point, okay?
Right.
You just brought Ivanka. They might be listening.
I'm sorry. You have to make mistakes.
Yeah. You're not always gonna be successful.
The people that make the most mistakes. When Michael Jordan has missed more shots, Tiger Woods has missed more swing shots than anybody, but he's also the best because he's taken the most
best
shots.
To ever do it. So Arson says, "Don't be afraid to say that, Walter." I know what it was. That's true. We rarely we rely so much on God, rather, thinking He will find a way, etc. We end up never holding ourselves accountable. We don't accept responsibility, which in turn automatically makes us less powerful over our own lives. Yes, let's pray, but let's work first. And Jonelle says, our group economics is our empowerment. Absolutely. Hey, cuz Michelle says, oh, shoot, you have the main man. Yes.
What's up, Michelle?
She says, I love my intelligent cousins. And Jonelle.
Michelle, me and Michelle talk about money stuff all the time.
I know that's right. And Jonelle says, clear, the Zionists own America, and foreigners always bet on black. So, and that's the same thing Dr. Claude Anderson was saying, that everybody else comes in our community.
It sets up their wealth.
And we're dumb enough to go ahead and,
we're so friendly.
But another thing, and I'll get to these comments really quick, he also said, when we start a business, where do we go?
In the black community.
No, we try to go set up in the white community. Other communities, they're like, and he says that white people do business with each other 95% of the time. Guess how often we do business with each other? 2% of the time.
2% of the time. Wow.
And let me address this point too, because I want to be clear, because I want to. Sometimes, and I wish we could go back and we can get rid of race and color, because one, that like if you're white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, whatever it is, let's get rid of all of our color, right?
Okay.
And let's just start from scratch. If you were purple and I was green and you were yellow, and we each got $1,000. Depending on what we did with that $1,000 is going to determine our future. So that's what we need to focus on. Like, the white people protect white people. Mexicans protect Mexicans. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Black people have not learned from the Mexicans, the white, the Jews, the Iranians. Whoever. For whatever reason, we hate ourselves. Black people, we do not like ourselves.
It was taught and we just continue it.
I mean, like...
Further it.
Yeah, and a lot of it was growing up and hearing about it in school, so I get it. Because I used to hate when slavery roots came around. I was like, Greg, I get to sit through this shit.
Yeah, exactly, again.
For the 20th time in school, I get to hear about slavery, right? That didn't do anything for it, but made me angry, made me want to stab Whitey, right? But we need to start focusing on ourselves, what we do with the money, and then worrying about making ourselves better. I promise you, if you wake up in the morning, you put on your best outfit, and you give it your best that day, sooner or later, you will become stronger. And the black people stop bitching and complaining. Like, if I hear the white man one more time, first of all, the white man, whatever the man,
whoever this guy is,
come back and say, I made a mistake, Negro, nigga, whatever it is, and he's not gonna come back and say, hey.
Right, and to that point, which is why we should be focusing on ourselves and stop focusing on other people, including businesses, right?
Yeah.
And
stop talking about the white man, the Mexican man, because when I'm at the ATM,
we need to talk about ourselves.
I'm not looking for the white man, the black man, I'm looking for the robber. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm worrying about me. So take care of you first.
Got it. And Meechie says, happened years ago. She's talking about the car that she gave up, and that's how far behind we are. And my credit was jacked up, and she repaired it. Now she's doing good. She can get anything. I know you can, BFF. And Al says, former NFL Jet Darrell Revis played for 13 years and said on 60 Minutes interview he didn't buy a house until he finished playing. And then
he probably got money to the sky.
Yeah, right. And then and Michelle says, Walter, call me, okay. And Huey says, thanks and stress, that's a fact. So that's why he had the stroke. He was saying stress. And Al says, why is it that most black people refuse to tip at a restaurant, grocery store, barbershop, etc.? And And then Marcus,
I tip
go ahead.
when I go.
Yeah, I tip. And that's why I said, too, a lot of times we need to stop buying into a lot the stereotypes. Because I had a white professor when I was in going for my BA. He says, I don't tip. He says, in fact, I'll leave him a card with a little tip or something on there to get like some life advice. And this dude has businesses and money. He says, I'm not obligated to tip.
Right.
I will never. This was this man saying, like, I don't give them nothing.
Yeah, because he paid for the service. A tip is extra.
That's what he was saying. But I'm like, all right. But here we are, black people getting that stigma. Black people don't tip. And so Marcus says, what are specific steps by steps things to do to retire with it says something because we're behind. That's why
we're getting this question a lot. That's fine, but start with the end in mind. What is it you want, Dan?
How do you want to live?
Like, what is you like me? I know, like me and my two kids. We were talking. Like you could first of all figure out what the end looks like. I know right now I could go for $600 a month. I can live in Bangkok, Thailand. Mm-hmm. I could have a little house. You know what I'm saying? I can have me a Thai wife. For $1,000 a month, I can have 2 Thai wives.
Right, exactly.
And for $3,000, they can be in heels all the time. Right. Figure out what it is that you want. Or if I go to Africa, Ethiopia, I don't care where it is. Beautiful women all over the world. I'm just being funny. But the point I'm making is, figure out what you want the end to look like. You guys don't need $10,000 a month. You don't need baller status to retire.
Right.
Some of you guys could, like right now, you can go to Mexico, to Cancun, and for $400 a month, you could live right where you can see the ocean from your window.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, there's a saying that there's almost 1.5 million people that live right there in the Tijuana area that they come over the border, Americans that are going over
like
there.
San Diego and Mexico. Mm-hmm. There's Americans. My boy George has bought a house.
Right.
Bought a house down there. You can see the water. We go to his house, you can see and hear the ocean. He paid like $85,000 or something like that. For cash for a house, you can see the water an hour and a half from the border. Paid off cash. He always going to have a place to go live.
Right.
And chill.
And Amanda says, I got 2 jobs, and I only live off my first check. I pay bills with it, and I save all my second job's checks. Don't ever buy anything I don't need. And
and she still probably got that black hatchback truck.
Somebody sold her a Jeep for $300. Really nice.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Amanda, that's our sister.
Wait.
Miss Frugal.
Right now, I have a question though. When do you come to a point like me? I've come to a point where I'm like, why am I saving money? My kids are grown. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I'm saving this money for what? That's why I'm spending.
You.
Right.
The hell with those kids.
Right, exactly.
And here's what I mean by that. You should take care of your kids. You know what you should do for your kids? Leave them a plan and life insurance. That way, if something happens to you, they have money and a plan of what to do with it. 1, 2 is why you need money to save money, because one day you may be in a position to where you can't control your life. And let me tell you what scares me the most, and what really got me saving, and why I have millions of dollars in life insurance and and lifestyle protection. Because if I had a stroke, let's just say I had a stroke, right? And let's say it was major, and Dee was my caretaker. I'm living Dee's life.
Yes.
And I'm doing this show every week, and I want to be here every Sunday.
And I'm going to have a bell.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be sitting up here.
Chilling.
I'm going to be doing, Democrat
stuff. I'm going to be like,
you know what I'm saying?
Diaper going to be soiled for 2 weeks.
And that's probably the truth.
I'm in Cuba. I'll be back.
Yeah. I don't watch the same shows she watched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in a lot of the same things. But I would be under her control.
Right.
What if she got $800,000 in a written plan? Here's what Walter wants. He wants a masseuse. Here's her height, weight, and race. Number 1. 2, he likes to steak once a week. He wants a massage every day. Matter of fact, the massage table's in the closet to the left.
Okay.
Right? He wants to travel on vacation once a month. He wants to be in a different country. He likes fine foods. If you see my cooking show, you know I like to get down.
Yep.
So if I can't cook, I want her cooking. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, I don't want nobody guessing at what you want.
Okay.
So it's in writing, and me and my kids have this conversation all the time. It's funny, but they know if I had a stroke, the first thing I want, they know what I want.
Right, but
pull the plug?
Not pull the plug. No, but I have it in writing though. If I lose a limb, pull the plug.
Right.
If I'm in a condition where I can't focus, pull the plug.
What I'm saying is, there's a lot of people like me, like you work for the federal government, whatever. And you got to check until the day you die. Why am I saving money?
Because the government may not always be there.
Really?
Oh, come on now. You realize that the government pension plans are in worse shape than private pension? Like, really? If you are a teacher or public employee, those pensions are so underfunded to the point they're thinking about getting rid of the property, the tax deduction on second homes, Proposition 13.
Yeah.
They are going after Uber, Lyft, these independent contractors to try and fill the gap in these pension funds.
Okay.
These guys, sooner or later, are going to cut those pension funds. Like, and the reason they don't do it is because it's politics. If you are a teacher and you're getting $4,000 a month and you are 60, by the time watch, just wait and see.
But like, I'm a federal employee, so as long as they're a federal government, I'm going to get a check.
Well, think about this. Think about the U.S. deficit right now.
Yeah. Okay.
How high is it? Now, that will be the last thing to go.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's going to go.
Right.
But so if you're getting a check, how about having extra money so you can have that check and then have, another check, maybe lifestyle.
And truth be told, and I'm just, speaking from a little bit of experience, a lot of us, I'm getting over flu, so excuse me, have a lot of time on our hands, right? So when I say a lot of time on our hands, a lot of us spend, and I don't, but we watch a lot of TV. So instead of watching, 20, I don't know how many hours of TV you watch a week or a day, but take some of those hours and maybe go get a part-time gig or start a part-time hobby or something. That's extra money and not making any money to watch TV all day. But if you were to go, I don't know, something 4 hours a day, 5 hours, however long, and put that money to the side, I mean, that's retirement or help you start a business or something like that.
Okay. Think about this. This is crazy. I'm going to say something that's going to change the world. And what if you could make $20 a day? Just think about it for 1 second. I keep dropping this mic. I'm not hanging around my neck. But let's say, let's say you can make $20 a day. So all you got to do is go out and work 1 hour a day or do something to make $20. Knock on the door. Hey, do you know what? Do you have anything in this house that you don't need? Like, let's pop in. This is like drop by yard sale. Sure. Do you have anything you don't need? Oh, I have this and that. I'll buy it from you. And if you did that 3 or 4 times, then you knocked on your neighbor's door, and then you turn around and sold that on eBay. Gary Vee, who's one of the guys that I follow, like me and my son Evan were talking about Gary Vee on the way. He does this thing where he goes to garage sales and buys things, and then he sells them on eBay.
Right, flips them.
So he's like, I spent $1,000 for all this stuff, but I sold it on $20,000 on eBay. So if you can make,
to be honest,
that does right.
Right, I know Dre. He's a slinger. He was like, man, he would sell this cup if he thought it didn't belong to you. So $20, and people used to give Dre a hard time. Me being one of them. I'm like, this dude, like, man, you can't sell that. I'm wearing it. But like, he's got his own business. His wife's not working. He's independent. And this is the last dude. When you looked at Dre 20 years ago, you went, oh, he gonna be independent one day. Right. $20 a day gives you $100 a week. Times 4.
$400 a month.
Gives you $400 a month. $400 a month.
$4,800 a year.
Yes, $4,800 a year, but $400 a month at a 12% rate of return over 30 years is $1.4 million.
Wow.
Here's the thing, though. What if you made $10 a day? The hell with it. Let's break it down. What if you made $5 a day? What's 5 times? What is that? Times 5? $25 a month. Do you know if you save $25 a month? I'm sorry, a week. Okay, we ain't gonna break it down that far. So that's $25 a week times 4. It's $100 a month. $100 a month at 12%, 30 years is $350,000. How many people 70, 80 years old don't have $300,000?
No, I'd rather have my weed.
They want to have their weed and the swag and all these other things. So, like, if you could save, is that right? That can't be right. $5 a day.
No, so it's $35 if you're talking about 7 days. So $35 a week.
Okay, no, I'm not. I'm gonna give him 2 days off.
Okay.
You can't, because sometimes you got to take some time off, right?
Okay.
And I'm a hustler too. I'm working right now, right?
Right.
But sometimes give yourself a break, right? If you want to work 7 days like Gary Vee, some of these other guys, like do that. But like, give yourself some time. So that's $5 a day, right? That can't be right.
Yeah, $25 a week.
That's $100 a month.
Right.
That gives you for a year, if you did that, you would have $1,200. You can start a business.
So I'm gonna blow through some of these comments because I can see I'm way back up.
No, go through them.
And so Al says my stepdad is on life support for a month. So on a visit to the hospital, I unplugged the cord to charge up my phone. And Amanda says her house may not be standing. She got drama. And Chantel says, what are the basic investments to make to start bringing money in instead of money going out? But we answered those already.
We answered that question, but
we're behind.
Let me deal with Amanda this thing really, really quick. So I know my sister, you know, she got her house for a really good price. She's been in that house for as long as I can remember. Right? And it's not the most fabulous. It's a nice house. But you know what it is? It's paid.
It's paid.
Quite a brand new. First person to live in the house.
Yeah. So now we've been there a bunch of times. We'll be there this weekend.
In case you haven't heard.
It's a and I just made that decision this morning to go to Cuba and to Florida. Right? But you know, when you have your own stuff and you taking the risk, you can just disappear like that.
Right.
I'll be back. But so do stuff like that. Don't tell me you can't make $5 a day. Now, if I say this to the white man, to the Jewish man, to the Mexican man, to the Asian man, you know what they're going to do right now? Yo, we need to have a family meeting.
Right.
So I just realized $5 a day, which means I can go home and work 1 hour. That means you make $5 an hour, which makes you slave labor. But it's what you do with that $5. Okay. That's $100 a month.
Right.
If you say, if you're 30, 40, 50, and you do that for 30 years at a decent rate of return, you will have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Period. And then you can take that money, buy a house. Matter of fact, you can take 100 to France, 100,000 to Thailand. You can see where my mind is, right? You can go down Mexico. You gotta do a trust. My boy George can help you with that. It's a yearly trust, but he spent 85 grand on this beach house. So for 300,000, I could have houses in 3 countries paid off. Rent those 3 houses out, and then I could float about the world.
All right.
It's that simple.
And I'm gonna go through some of these comments. And
go for them.
Janelle says majority of us need to be turning our leaf money into gold and silver. We be wise to invest in gold and silver coins as the rich are doing. And Chantel says so. She says so. $5 on the Stash app for 5 years means what? So $5 a day or $5 a week, depends on, because Stash is stock. So depending on what you actually invest in it, it can mean a whole host of things. But you can also just save the money in there and keep it for yourself, or you can invest it.
Yeah, but there's like Acorn. There's Betterment. There's different plans where you can put money away $5 at a time, and you can do that. And so now what happens is you create. See, $5 a day isn't going to make you wealthy right away. But what it's going to do is create a habit. Habits are what make people poor. I swear to you. And my sister would tell you this. There's a time I had a Mercedes when I had my black card. I had like my ex, you know, my kids are sitting here. They were too young, but we were traveling. My ex, she didn't have a job. We came to the house. They'd have 5 pizzas sitting.
Servants.
We wanted to taste it. We had, what's her name? Espy. Up until recently, she lived with us forever. I was blowing money. But now I'm like, no. We need to, but you need to create a habit, and you need to get pissed off like I am right now, because you need to get. What is that? Oh, it's a cat. Lord have mercy.
That's Mr. Tyler.
Oh, all right.
Mr. Tyler.
It's your house. So you have to get pissed off to the point, and I mean you have to get mad at yourself.
Hey, Shelly.
And make a move. Otherwise, you're gonna struggle. I'm tired of hearing about the white man. I'm tired of hearing about the rich people. And stop listening to these politicians too. The billionaires and the millionaires. If I want to get to Elizabeth Warren, I want to cut the brakes on her car mentally.
But he's just playing.
But no, here's what I'm saying. What the hell is wrong with a millionaire and a billionaire? Like, so I'm in the land of the free, and I want to get rich, and that makes me the devil? Y'all gotta stop.
And she's a millionaire herself.
And she's a millionaire. She's like, Bernie Sanders, like when Michael Bloomberg entered the race, we don't have space for billionaires. You know who should be in classrooms teaching kids? Billionaires. Millionaires, because what you see now is the Michael Bloomberg that's rich. What you don't see is when he first started. And all the stress and all the crap he went through to get, and not the hundreds of thousands of jobs, by the way, that these people create.
Would you agree that spending, let's say, 30 minutes with a millionaire or billionaire is more advantageous than, just that knowledge alone, just getting, from that person?
First of all, when I'm with a group, I try and be the poorest person in the room.
Well, damn.
Okay.
And when I say poorest, I mean like
I know what you mean, right? Because you want to be absorbing knowledge.
When I'm sitting with somebody that's doing better, I am learning from them.
Right. You want to learn the knowledge, right?
And here's some successful people and rich people. What they don't do is they don't criticize. And they don't waste your time. Period. Like if somebody is about their money and success, they want to get to the point.
Okay.
So surround yourself with people that are doing better. And like, when you're up in church, or when you want to be religious, if you're Catholic, whatever it is, ask your minister, what can I do to better myself now? Because it's cool that when I die, I'm going to go to heaven. But I don't want to go through hell until I get there.
Yeah, right.
It makes no sense.
Amen. Amen.
And I'm not going to kill, I have friends that are in religion.
So I got a quick yes or no answer question for you. Al says, I like how you always look clean each time I see you. Have you ever thought about having a clothing line or a barbershop business?
Hell yes. I got a clothing line. I got one called Coulter that's already in the works, and I got one called The Provocative. It's underwear for adults.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that the one with the elephant ears?
No, not the elephant ears. No, it's just a clean adult underwear line.
So what's happening, Shelly? Thank you so much. She says a great topic. Reginald, what's happening? And Al says,
I got ideas.
Dimitri on the comments, remember that EPMD song, The Takeover. So he said,
yes, The Takeover.
Cut y'all off. And Jonelle says, let's see. They say, you could only deal and eliminate race if we were playing on a balanced and just field, which shows why our own state of reality is necessary for our true success. Anything established on and within a biased system is on allowance and is not on a solid foundation. We as a black nation must establish our base, our built outside of this nation. Okay. And then Al says, BB, that's me. I won't tell you what that means. The one thing that I said I had an issue on, I won't ever complain about again. I can't remember what that is because that'd be a lot of stuff sometimes. And Al says, this is the executive producer and the band is playing the music. And Chantel says,
we still got 15 minutes.
We got to the end. Yes, Chantel says specifics. What would $50 a month in marijuana stock do to a 5 to 10 year period?
Okay, so for the adults that are listening to this, let's have this conversation. Right? I own a stock called ACB. It's Aurora Cannabis. I own Canopy Growth. Right?
I got that one too.
Canopy Growth. They just did a deal with Drake in Canada. Drake has his own marijuana company. They're partnering to sell marijuana because Canada is now becoming legal. In the U.S., they're getting closer to it. To making it federally, so everyone can use it. So you can buy the stock Aurora Cannabis right now. Oh Lord, it's trading.
It's at $2.
Whooping, but I keep buying them. I'm gonna keep buying them.
It was at $2,
yeah.
But it's going down. You dollar cost average. Like I look for stocks that are getting their asses kicked. Canopy Growth was it $80 or something?
At 50? One time, yeah.
And now it's at like 10.
Right.
Okay, let me go on and get that one too.
But or I don't know. No, it's at $20, but it got killed. The point but you buy low things when they're having problems.
Right.
So you can do that, or this is a little more advanced, is you can buy the stock option. I can spend $1 and I can control that stock for 3 to 6 months, the gain and the losses of it by having the option. So stock options are the rich man's tool, but poor people middle class, whoever it is, you can use them. But so those are some of the things I would do. I would look to getting into things that are going to be around long term, like marijuana, like food's going to be around.
Well, put it like this, the marijuana stock in particular, when the federal government finally approves it, let's say it's 5 years from now, and you've been buying stock at $2, $3, or $10, whatever, that'll be like, let's say you got 100 shares, and they say, boom, it's ready to go. Government says it's good. How much money would that be down the road?
Let me tell you what's going to happen, and I'm not here promoting marijuana stocks. That's not, I'm answering the question. Yeah. What's going to happen most likely with marijuana is one day the government, and here's what's happening right now. They're getting all their boys ready. They're in boardrooms. Okay, we're going to make it legal, but how do we benefit from it?
Right.
Because then you walk into a McDonald's one day, and they got a marijuana cookie, or they got a marijuana shake. And it sounds funny right now, but like, think about it. Something that's legal is legal. So these big corporations right now are just starting to get into the game, but you see some of these big companies, it's kind of like with banks and Bitcoin. People laughed at Bitcoin, but now you got JP, you got Goldman Sachs. Now you got these people taking a serious look at Bitcoin, right? So get in stuff that is, you have to look long term,
right, long term,
and stop. And I'm gonna address some of these other comments I saw. I get it, like this is we can have some fun sometimes, but like we need to get to business. Black people are in the worst
financial
economic shape, physical shape and we are the fastest, the strongest people in the world, but we are in the worst. We are in the worst economic shape. And to black people, we can be funny, but everything ain't funny.
Right.
Sometimes you got to get to the point because we are getting our asses whooped Period.
Right, but let me get back to that. What I was saying, with the stock thing. Okay, let's say you do that for 10 years. You buy $2 worth of stock, whatever deal is. Like you said, it goes back to having a habit because you don't have to just wait till the stock hits. You can take out of that and cash that stock out. Let's say after 10, 12 years. I'm just saying, but it's getting to that habit.
The habit of saving. Here's the other thing too. If those of you who follow me on social media, Friday night on my storyline, I think it was Friday night. It was Thursday night. Is I have CNBC playing on my storyline.
It was Friday night.
So that was what I did Friday night. I was watching So here's I'm like the nutty professor. I have Yahoo Finance playing on my TV. I have Bloomberg on my phone on my E-Trade account when I'm trading stocks, and I have CNBC on my laptop. I have all three of them playing at the same time. What the hell are you watching when you're at home? Like me and my son were talking. I said no one's watching CNBC right now. So when I bought the Aurora cannabis stock, and then I bought the Canopy, and then I bought NIO, which is an electric car company in China. So now Chinese are buying electric cars. So I bought NIO, it's NIO. I bought that stock. It's getting crushed right now, and I hope it gets crushed to death so I can buy it cheap.
Buy it up.
That's what I was doing. To Chantel's point with the marijuana stocks, I think you guys said Aurora that's taking a hit. But I just go in and I just buy some. I just buy
Hexo, $10.
Because I know eventually it's going to blow up.
It's $2. Like, think about it.
Yeah, it's lower than that now.
If you spent $100 a month on this, and I'm not promoting
that's 2 stocks for a glass of Starbucks.
Think about it.
And you can Starbucks more than that.
I know.
Think about this. You can buy 50 shares, and I don't care what the stock is. 50 shares of this particular stock for $100. 50 shares. If you did that every month, and you looked out 10 years later, and McDonald's was like, "Welcome to the marijuana cookie,"
right?
And they were the producer. Think about Tesla stock, Amazon stock right now.
$1,300.
If you bought Amazon stock when they first came out,
$3,
$10,000 in that. You got Bentleys everywhere.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Exactly. But like I said, I thought it was very important that you said getting to the habit of saving, because that's what I put a lot of stuff in the stocks I never see it, and I'm just saving the money, and then I'm looking at the end of the year and I say it's like I got like $10,000, and that's just in stash.
Right.
And I'm just like,
but here's the issue. This part of the conversation is where we lose most black people.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You're right.
Walter read my mind. And and thank you to you guys who are keeping in there. And I'm going to get to your comment, Chantel. I'm going to say this too, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. So if you take offense, it wasn't my intentions. But oftentimes, as Walter said, and we all talk about this a lot on this show, we are, as black people, at the bottom of everything
12 years to zero
on the planet. Health, wealth, and everything in between. And we are the biggest consumers. Here in this book here, it says, consuming is a negative in a capitalistic society. Yes. It says, we are nearly 100% consumers and 0% producers. And with that, I'd like to add that we are the biggest consumers of entertainment, right? So what I'm saying is, if the information is not sexy and we're not always kikiing and ha-haing and joking, then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm bored. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Right,
but I guarantee you, if we was up here cooning and clicking and, twerking and, acting silly, we'd have a lot of people on here. And I'm like, you know what? This is for the big leagues. This is for people who really want to move the ball forward as far as black people, because I guarantee you, while you're being entertained, you're also being passed up.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
and it's going to, let me finish. And it's going to be the people who are paying attention, who are going to be relied upon to carry the weight. As Marcus Garvey said, there's no doubt that there's, because when he was trying to take black people back to Africa, there's black people who are no good here, and no doubt there'll be no good over there. And so it'll be those people who are paying attention to this type of advice, who's going to take it. Then the people who are going to be left behind are going to want the people who paid attention to help them and drag their asses along.
Right, it'll be too late.
Again, like I said, this ain't, for everybody. And I'm glad it ain't for everybody, because it's exclusive. It should be, but everybody ain't going to take part of it. I'm done.
So no, at the end of the day, create. There's a good book. It's called The Slight Edge. Jeff Olson. He's a white dude. I apologize.
I tagged him. So real quick, Chantel, I tagged Walter, so you can click on his name and you'll be able to find him.
You can go to my Facebook page. It's all travel and food, right?
So I tagged him on this link here so you can find him on there.
I said not you. Lately, I've been doing more investment stuff. And let me tell you, so why don't you go do this? Open an E-Trade account, Ameritrade. You can Robinhood. Right? Open one of these accounts and you can buy. I'm telling you, you can buy. This is like
80 cents sometimes.
This is insane. Like kids, like third graders in school, their teachers should say, okay, we're going to spend 30 minutes a day and we're going to talk about saving our future investments. Like when you guys get out of this school after being a slave for 12 years, what do you like? You're going to leave here with money. You're going to leave here with something to do. Right. So we can start that right now. Like open an account, put money into it. And here's what happens too. Like when I'm watching CNBC, like Jim Cramer, I like him, Mad Money. Jim Cramer is crazy dude, but he's throwing out tips like this.
Exactly.
Buy this stock, buy this stock. And even if you don't buy stock, the fact that you watch
about it
will make your mind, your reticular activator will focus on that. So now when I hear, Coca-Cola's doing this, I go, let me look it up. Or like I heard that Drake was investing. He had his own cannabis company. And he was getting with Canopy, who is owned 37% by Constellation Brands that owns Modelo and Corona. So when I hear Constellation Brands that owns Corona owns 37% of Canopy, which is doing a deal with Drake to sell marijuana, I'm like, sounds like a clue to me.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, he has a marijuana. He's growing marijuana. The stuff agriculture. He says he smokes like 40,000 a month, but
I believe Mike Tyson smoked that.
Yeah. But the point is, he's at that part, and you take that part because who's going to be buying his marijuana as it, like you said, it's going to be a part, be a part, and be a part.
And Gilbert says, hello Gilbert, by the way. He says, I appreciate his knowledge.
And sometimes I'm more of the radical. Like if right now I'm out of 10, I'm being 2 because there's a part of me. There's a part of me that most 99% of people cannot deal with the way that I really think, because I wake my black ass up. If me and Evan were just having this conversation, I don't get enough sleep. Right, Morgan, they'd be beating me up. But get up early, work, take naps, and then always be looking for something to do. You can work. You can work around the clock. Like if you're at home Netflixing and you broke, that's your problem. Now, if you're going to be Netflixing, be working on something else too.
Right.
Period. Yeah. Stop doing that to yourself. Stop blaming the white man for everything.
Yeah, and I kind of do this with the stocks too. If there's something that I have, like, okay, I have a Sprint phone. I'm figuring, well, if I'm paying them the Sprint, I might as well be part of owner, so I go get some Sprint stock, which is at $6 an hour. Waiting on the merger. So I'm thinking, hey,
I know Sprint. They be talking merger talks with Sprint, but you know what? Like this conversation here is a conversation I like. I like to talk about money, investments. This is the stuff that, like, do you realize one of the richest people in the world, Robert Smith, he is an African American hedge fund manager.
He gave all that money to Morehouse.
Billionaire. He paid off the student loans.
Oh, yeah.
You know what the media did? Is they came after him and started bringing all his weaknesses. And
right.
Did you just say there is a billionaire brother that runs a hedge fund? Like, wait a minute. Let's talk about... But you know what, Robert Smith? He can't go in public and talk like that because black people don't want to hear that. Oh, he's a billionaire. He's da-da-da-da-da. Hey, Robert, how did you get to be a billionaire? I don't care about the loopholes and the tax laws for the rich. Hey, dummy, if there's a tax loophole for the rich, it's also there for the poor, too.
Yes.
Period. The problem is poor people don't use... and they're not loopholes, by the way. They're rules.
They're rules,
tax rules.
Period.
Exactly.
And if you want to get pissed about an organization, get mad at your bank. And why don't you watch a video tonight on fractional lending?
Yes.
And see how that works. And then hit me back about rights and loopholes and rules.
Absolutely.
So learn the money rules. These are the conversations we should be having.
Right.
Period. We're not...
Well, with 12 years to go till zero, I mean, the countdown is on.
That's what it's saying, that black wealth is going to be collectively zero in 12 years.
I believe that. And I was just telling you why. Because it's not just black wealth.
Yeah.
Everybody's wealth. White people, Mexicans, Asians.
It's going to decline, but ours is going to be zero.
The least of it.
We have the least assets. So.
It said that we are, on average, black households have $15,000 compared to that of $170 for white households.
You want to hear something scary? Yeah. And I'm not predicting this. But, like, I hear people talk about black people going back to slavery. Think about this for a second. If our wealth disappeared and we became irrelevant financially, what do you think we'd become?
Exactly.
Well, there it is. We're down near that anyway.
Yeah, we're right there.
That is true, but I'm talking about like on a real level.
Real level, yeah.
What do you do with people
who are not producing
and don't have power?
Well, that's what Dr. Claude Anderson says. He says we are already the labor force.
Right.
whether we want to believe it or not.
But when they take the labor force from us and we're just sitting here idle.
Right, which is what's going on now through AI. And Andrew Yang talks about that. He says through AI, the labor force is going away. And we're seeing that every day. And so being that we're the labor force, where are we going to go work if we don't have any businesses?
And crazy part is I don't agree with everything he says, but Andrew Yang is not far. The
Off
only
the truth.
my problem with him is he goes after rich people. It's not rich people's fault. It's everybody's fault because everyone has the opportunity to be rich. And we're